Hi, this is Richard Torado with New England Realty. I want to quickly go over the calculating the cash to close in Connecticut. The reason I want to go over the cash to close is I hear a lot of people, especially first-time homeowners, use down payment, closing costs, cash to close, and they use these terms interchangeably. I'll briefly go over what each means and how to calculate them, and hopefully this will take some of the mystery out of home buying, and it'll make it a lot clearer of how these relate to each other. So, in this example, I'm using a $400,000 home, and I went to Zillow, and we'll use this one at 80 Cedar Ridge Drive in Glastonbury, and as our example. So that home is worth $400,000, or that's what they're asking for it. So our first equation is to calculate the down payment. Now, depending on the condition of the house, the the less work the house needs as far as health and safety, the easier it is to buy, meaning that we could put a lower down payment on it. The more work the house needs, the more the bank may require as a down payment for the property. And they're all going to vary from property to property. So sometimes you'll want to use the FHA and sometimes you can't. So you'll have to maybe use one of the conventional options. But for this example, let's assume we could use the FHA 3.5%, which will give us a down payment of $14,000. If we take 400,000, we times it by 3.5, we get $14,000. Let's assume that's going to be our down payment for this property. Now we're going to calculate the closing cost. So for the closing cost, what we're going to do is we're going to find what the taxes are on the property. We want to know what they pay a year. So on this property, it pays $8,903 a year for taxes. So we're going to divide that number in two, which will be 6 months of tax escrow, which will be $4,452. Whenever I use the word escrow, it's a fancy word of saying savings. So as you may know already, when we're calculating for the closing costs, it's part of your PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. What most lenders will do is they'll escrow, meaning they'll take a savings account for you. They'll start up a savings account for when the taxes become due, and then they will pay them. Same thing with the homeowner's insurance. They'll usually take a whole year of homeowner's insurance as part of the escrow. So whenever you hear the word escrow, just think of it as a savings account put aside for your taxes and your insurance. Another fee we'll add into the closing cost is $2,500 for attorney fees. Connecticut is a attorney state. It's not a title state. So the attorneys do all the title work in Connecticut. This fee includes title insurance, which you only pay once, and it's part of that $2,500 calculation. And then our next fee is the lender fee, which we'll estimate at $2,500, which includes your things like your appraisal and other fees that lenders may charge, such as rate locks and all that kind of stuff. So your total closing cost is $11,452. So If we can buy the home with an FHA loan, then we'll add the down payment of $14,000 because that was the 3.5 FHA loan option, and then your closing cost of $11,452 for a grand total of cash to close of $25,452. Your closing costs generally doesn't change. What changes is more the down payment, and that'll depend on things such as your credit, how much you want to put down as a down payment, and it also may include the condition of the house. Uh, Obviously, the less work the house needs, the easier it is to finance, and vice versa. So I hope this clears up some of the misconceptions that are out there about down payment, closing cost, and the cash to close. Again, this is Rich Torado with New England Realty. Have a great day.